The governor calls him Colorado's Dr. Fauci. He is the man in charge of modeling what COVID-19 is most likely to do in our state. Dr. Jonathan Samet leads a team of scientists and researchers who are exploring the various scenarios. So we're headed into a scenario starting Sunday where Colorado begins to reopen without the widespread COVID-19 testing that state health leaders had previously said was a requirement for reopening. And today, Dr. Samet told us that they have not put together a scenario that did not include that widespread testing. In their best case scenario for Colorado, they had widespread testing. They also had continued stay-home requirements for folks who are at risk, as well as isolation of positive cases, social distancing, and people wearing masks. Even then, of course, any kind of reopening of Colorado is going to cause a second surge of cases.
I think that it could be bigger than what we just saw, but coming more slowly because of the management. So perhaps the number of people would be the same, larger, but it would be in a fashion that doesn't peak quite so quickly would be the goal.
Regarding the timing of reopening, Dr. Samet says all of their models, which again all have widespread testing involved in them, didn't show a big difference between reopening now versus 2 or 4 weeks from now. So we're still trying to get a clear answer from the governor's office about how testing was dropped as a requirement, but some additional data today could help explain the situation. As we've talked about here, state leaders may have decided that widespread testing, what they hope for, is just so far off that we cannot sustain the economic damage of waiting for it. Take a look at what my colleague Chris Vanderveen put together this afternoon on short notice. Bear with us because our graphics department is also working from home right now, so this is what you get. But it shows you the rate of testing in Colorado, and what Chris Vanderveen's pointing out is the rate of testing has flatlined for 4 weeks. So it's entirely possible that the governor and others saw that we're not just lacking the widespread testing they hope for, we aren't moving the testing numbers in that direction, and that could be one reason why they decided to reopen now.